A very good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of Wipro Foundation, I, Sailen Rautrai, take this opportunity to welcome all the speakers and other participants of today's webinar. As many of you know, Wipro Foundation has a strong focus on facilitating the sharing of best practices, peer learning, and capacity building of our partners. Towards meeting these objectives, we publish periodicals such as Samuhik Pahal and organize partners, forums, retreats, workshops, and webinars. The topic for today's webinar is fundraising, nurturing nonprofit lifeline. In this session, we are joined by 4 accomplished panelists. More than 130 people have registered for this webinar who are joining in as I speak. This session will be anchored by Sneha Arora, who is the CEO of Atma. Before transitioning to this role, she served as its Chief Programs Officer for 3 years after joining the organization in 2018. Trained in business administration at Indian School of Business, she is passionate about assisting education NGOs to enhance the impact. We have 3 other speakers for this webinar, Rajul Bharti, Mainak Roy, and Rohit Kumar. Rajul Bharti works with Samarth Charitable Trust, Ahmedabad, Gujarat, on programs that help community processes become inclusive in a sustainable fashion. Mainak Roy is the co-founder and CEO of Simple Education Foundation. He is passionate about reforming India's government schools, reading, and most importantly, writing poetry. Rohit Kumar is the CEO of Apni Shala Foundation. Trained at TISS Mumbai in elementary education, he has extensive experience of working in the non-profit sector. I again welcome all the 4 panelists to this webinar. Please keep your videos on. In order to facilitate discussions, I request all other participants to kindly keep themselves on mute. If you have any questions, please type these out on the Q&A option listed at the bottom of the screen. I request Sneha Arora to kindly introduce the topic and anchor this process. Sneha, over to you.
Thank you, Celine. Thanks for that very warm introduction. And I would also like to welcome all the participants on our webinar today. Let me start by just setting some context, right? Why are we here and why is this an important conversation to have? We all know that the social sector has experienced a huge amount of change in the last 2 years, right? Be it regulatory, be it programmatic, operational. I think there are multiple fronts on which most nonprofit leaders seem to be fighting, mini battles. Leaders of nonprofits have found themselves to really be jumping through multiple hoops in the last couple of years. And while some of these challenges have always existed, I think what the pandemic has done is really, revealed the cracks, so as to say, in some of the systemic fabric that we operate in the backdrop of. One of the most critical functions that any nonprofit leader is engaged in is fundraising, right? And that has continued to kind of hold its place as one of the most challenging areas for any nonprofit leader. Today's webinar, the intention behind it was for us to create a space to really come together, have on the panel peers, right? All of us are nonprofits, all of us are, facing in some ways very similar challenges and concerns, despite operating across multiple geographies, operating in multiple sectors and spaces. And so we thought it might be a really good idea to actually come together, talk about 2 or 3 things, right? One is, of course, the challenges. I mean, just having the space to come together and openly talk about what are we struggling with, what have we struggled with, right? And what have been some of the things that have held us in good stead through those struggles? What have we learned, right? What are some learnings that we can share with all of you present here today, so that maybe these are useful to you in your day-to-day operations, right? And lastly, also talk a little bit about mindsets, right? Because Of course, there's a lot to be said about what you can do, the action bias and the action orientation that most of us have. But sometimes what holds us back from taking constructive action is our thinking and our mindset, right? So we also want to have some space to talk about this today in our conversation. Lastly, I just want to say that while we were, sort of planning and preparing for this session, we really wanted it to be as practical and as interactive as possible, right? So we've tried to weave that in to the narrative that we will cover today. Would really request each and every one of you to, feel free to interact with us. We don't want this to be a one-way communication for sure. So please use the chat box generously. अगर आपके कुछ सवाल है तो आप प्लीज उन्हें chat box में डालिएगा. हम इन सवालों को कोलेट कर रहे हैं in the backdrop and we will come back and address all of them towards the end, right? We have 1.5 hours for this webinar and we have kept a part of it for the discussion and interaction with the panelists. We'll be going over 4 to 5 different questions and dimensions on the topic of fundraising. And then towards the end, we'll have a good 15 to 20 minutes for question and answer, where we will answer all the questions that have come either through the webinar as well as questions you can post at that time as well for us. And lastly, then we'll conclude with a quick summary and a snapshot of the session, and some feedback from you would be great through our feedback form. So that in a nutshell is what we're going to be doing in the next 1.5 hours. Without further ado, let me jump right in. So we have our panelists. I'm hoping all of them have their videos on. Great. All right. Okay. So you can see everybody. And I hope you can see them too. In case of any network concerns or issues, please feel free to put them in the chat box, and the Wipro team is here to support us, with all of them. Okay, so let's start by, talking about the challenges, right? The common challenges and hardships that all of us have faced in some shape or form in the past, right? It might be in the backdrop of the last 2 years, which have been a bit special, thanks to the pandemic, but also more broadly, right? If you look at your own journeys as nonprofit leaders, I would love to understand what are these challenges that you faced, right? And the way that I think it might be good to look at these challenges would be on 2 fronts. One is, of course, the externalities, right? These are things which are often beyond our control. Like इस पे हमारा कोई control नहीं रहता है, और कई बार हम अपनी तरफ से जितना भी effort डालें, right? इस सिस्टेमिक या इकोसिस्टम लेवल के इश्यूज की वजह से हमारी फंड रेजिंग एफर्ट्स ठीक से नहीं जाती है, या हम रिजल्ट्स नहीं देख पाते हैं, राइट? एंड वेरी ऑफन दैट कैन बी डीमोटिवेटिंग, राइट? इट कैन बी रियली चैलेंजिंग टू फेस दैट as a leader. So let's start there, right, with these externalities as we call them. What are some of the externalities that you have faced as leaders, and could you come in and share a little bit about them? I'd like to invite Rajul to first share her thoughts, and then would love to go over this with other panelists as well.
All right. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you for a great context, by the way. You've really set it up well, and I hope we'll be able to kind of, answer some of the questions. Fundraising is such a big subject. It's difficult to do it in one webinar or one day or one session, but maybe शुरुआत कर सकते हैं, फिर देखते हैं कहाँ तक आगे जा सकते हैं. So you've asked me about externalities, right? So what are the external challenges that we face while we are fundraising? I'd like to talk about two challenges here. One, I have always felt that the due diligences that are increasing every day, the amount of auditing or whatever, there are different kind of diligences that are required for not-for-profits now, especially to apply for institutional funding or any kind of a formal funding situation. You need to have your due diligences in place, and to especially smaller organizations, to organize, to grassroots organizations, to organization एक या दो लोगों ने शुरू की होती है, बहुत effort लगाकर उन्होंने शुरू करी होती है, with a lot of enthusiasm that they will do something. And then these whole due diligences come into play, which is very, very difficult for them to kind of manage. Also the nature of due diligence is मतलब कि या तो वो ऑनलाइन हो सकता है या तो फिर वो बड़े सिटीज में हो सकता है, तो इस वजह से गांव के लोगों के लिए या फिर ग्रास रूट पे काम करने वाले लोगों के लिए ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट है to reach out to that. So that was one I thought was a big challenge, due diligences. The other is अगर ये सब क्रॉस करके किसी तरह से आपने फंड रेज कर भी लिया, जैसे आपने कहा है आपके आर्टिकल में, इट्स एन 80-20 गेम ना, 80% एफर्ट और 20% लक. सो अगर उसके बाद अगर आपने कर भी लिया फंड रेज, तो देयर आर लिमिटेशंस ऑन फंडिंग. सो एवरीबडी वांट्स अ डायरेक्ट सर्विस डिलीवरी मॉडल that the last penny should reach the beneficiary. Very little is really earmarked for capacity building of staff or for the NGO themselves for their own sustainability. So there is a program sustainability, but there's also NGO sustainability, which is very important. And I've realized that usually all funding, everybody is more interested, most donors are interested in the sustainability of the program, but very little, for example, during COVID times, all the staff, all the frontline staff is there, in the COVID situation, giving food and whatever delivery to people. And in that situation, to give them insurance, to give them Mediclaim, to give them, that safety net, you require some kind of an extra funding, which is usually we realize that there is a capping on that. So those were the two issues that I thought were important to be raised here.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Rajul. I can come in at this point and offer a few perspectives that we have seen present themselves as common challenges across the nonprofits that Atma works with. And in addition to what you said, which is around due diligence, limitations on funding, programmatic versus capacity building support from donors, all of these are really quite valid, and we see this being a common challenge across nonprofits.
Right.
But if I take a step back, right, and I say, like, literally start from what's the first step that an NGO leader would take for raising funds, it starts with understanding who to reach out to, right? Like, who is the donor that I should be approaching? Very often there are a couple of things that don't allow us to do this very well. I think one is just the what we call the mandate mismatch, right? Which is to say ki, now I am an education NGO, and within that I work on teacher training as an area, and then I serve very specific geographies, very specific target group and audiences. How do I track my impact? My metrics might look a little bit different from another teacher training organizations. And so what ends up happening is that these are what I would call like your standout features as a nonprofit, and very often to match this with the preferences of donors becomes really challenging. I remember we were attending this session a couple of months ago, and one of the NGO leaders there was saying how he's still not figured out what quote unquote domain does he align with, right? Because what he does is so complex and it's so interdisciplinary that to put his organization under either education or healthcare or community is really challenging, right?
I agree.
You would think this is not what we should be fighting. Like, I mean, is this a battle, that needs to be fought? But definitely the reality is that there are challenges around just matching, what you do with what a donor wants to achieve. And that often becomes complicated. I think
I agree.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, sometimes what also happens is that you are basically, giving to the demands of the community where you are working, what they need, and you're basically supplying to the demands of it. So you're not basically fitting in any kind of a domain at that point of time, right? As the need arises, you are kind of, that's your response to
Correct.
Most programs, a response to that. So
Correct.
Yeah.
And especially in the rural areas, right? Like the lines become really blurry. Like we've seen that organizations, they're just there for the community, right? They will do whatever it takes to empower and uplift that community out of, either poverty or whatever challenges they're facing. So I think that multi-dimensional approach is definitely something that, could be an interesting evolution point for the sector. But yes, as far as a nonprofit is concerned, often finding the right donor, right? Knowing even where to go and research, like how do I go and I research about them? Which are the top 30 donors that I need to reach out to this year? And how do I arrive at that list, right? I think these often tend to be just first step kind of challenges, right, that nonprofits nonprofits face. In fact, I would love to invite Menak and Rohit also to share perspectives, if at all, on this area in terms of challenges you have seen. And for the audience, feel free to jump in and tell us what are some of the challenges that you have faced, right? What has been your number one challenge as a nonprofit leader, as far as external environment, ecosystem level concerns go?
So I'll just take off from Sneha, your piece on domain. I think one of the things that we have noticed is that, so I work with Simple Education Foundation, and our domain is education. And education is a very complex problem. There is no silver bullet, right, to it, which means that as an organization, we are constantly learning and we are constantly iterating, which means that when we present a program, the program might not have everything figured out, right? And I think that is one challenge that we've constantly faced, where when we've gone to a donor, the donor or the funding agency is looking for a plug and play finished model, which when you switch on, put the switch on, the light will come on, right? And that is something that does not happen mostly in education, right? I can only talk from the context of education. And that is, I think, a challenge that we have faced, and I'll say we continue to face, where there are pieces that we are still figuring out, but there is an expectation from on the other end that why isn't this figured out? And then sort of balancing what I would like to call, for a lack of a better word, diplomacy with honesty becomes a big challenge, right? Where I want to be honest and I want to tell you that, oh, you know what, I don't know how to measure this perfectly to tell you if the child has learned this or not. I can tell you a little bit about it, and then we'll figure it out over time. Or I can tell you, oh, I have figured it out, which I don't want to do at all. But that's the sort of challenge that I think we're constantly facing.
I think I resonate with a lot of what you three of you have already spoken. I think one thing that I am sitting with is that what is this identity of the donor, and how do they understand this, right? Is this identity is of power, that I have money and I will give you to do this work, or is that identity of a partner who is going to partner with the non-profit because it's a complex problem to be responded to, right? So वो जो समझ है ना, वो I think, and again it is on the spectrum. Some people get it, they invest the time, energy, effort to understand the problem and partner with the non-profit ताकि उस काम को आगे लेके जा सकें. However, I would say it's a journey for a dominant group of donors, especially from a corporate sector, because वो CSR का mandate आ गया, इसलिए कर रहे हैं. There's a lot of things going on, right? So वो identity creation कैसा हो रहा है और उसकी समझ क्या है कि who is this donor? What is their role in this developmental work, whether education or anywhere that we are talking about, right? That is something that I'm sitting with, and how do we unpack that? How do we respond to that is the question.
Yeah, correct. No, completely agree. I think this partnership approach versus like a power dynamic approach is definitely an interesting challenge that we all face, and want to see that evolve and sort of improve upon in a more equitable manner. So thanks for sharing those perspectives, Menak, Rohit, and Rajul. And also to the audience, I can see some insights coming in terms of challenges with getting multi-year donations, challenge working with children from migrant backgrounds, because it's probably one of the most complex groups within the children that we serve more broadly, because there's so much churn, there's so much up and down that that the very consistent approach to improvement to say it should be like a upward bar graph of like every year I add kids and learning improves, and might not be possible with that, right? So completely empathize with that, Sonali. And also I think we've had some people talk about how they face challenges in identifying the donor. Yes, like this is really a challenge area. I mean, one would think it's really simple, but it's not. There's a lot of information asymmetry and data gaps, I think, that all of us face. And either you're really well connected and then you can, there's a lot of doors that could open up to you, but assume you're not, and many nonprofits are not, then how do you go about this, right? So there can be some streamlined structure and approach to this, and maybe we can try and answer this either in the Q&A or in the practical learnings, and that maybe each one of you can share, right? Like, how do you do this? How do you identify the right donor? So we can take this up later in the session. Great. Okay, so this was a little bit about the externalities, right? Let's talk now some bit about the internalities. So what are internalities? Like, these are challenges that you face primarily from a capacity standpoint, right? These could either be skill gaps, or they could be resource gaps, or they could be knowledge gaps. मतलब आप अपनी तरफ से पूरा effort नहीं दे पाते हो fundraising को, right? Like, कहीं ना कहीं पे आप एक चैलेंज फेस करते हो, और ये काफी अलग तरीके के चैलेंज हो सकते हैं. I mean, one of the most common articulation of this is कि मुझे फंड रेजिंग के लिए टाइम ही नहीं मिलता है. लाइक एज एन एनजीओ लीडर मैं इतनी सारी चीजें कर रही हूँ या कर रहा हूँ कि मतलब मुझे बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है कि मैं कौन करेगा रिसर्च. ये मेरे पास फंड रेजिंग टीम में कोई स्टाफ मेंबर ही नहीं है. तो these are some of those very common issues or internalities that we face. But let's hear from a panelist, right? While you're juggling all these multiple balls and also trying to build sustainability into your fundraising efforts, कि ये year to year नहीं होना चाहिए हर बार. Like, I think all of us aspire कि थोड़ी stability आ जाए, right? While you're doing all of that, what are some internal challenges, right, that you face in terms of building a strong fundraising function?
I think when I think of this question, Sneha, there are a couple of things that come to my mind. सबसे पहली चीज तो कि हमें ये अनपैक करना पड़ेगा कि फंड रेजिंग क्या है. तो अगर मैं उसको छोटे शब्दों में बोलूं तो फंड रेजिंग मतलब आस्क फॉर मनी, पैसे मांगना, right? We are asking someone for money. That's what fundraising is. Now, if that is what fundraising is, then we have to ask a bigger question, that what have we been taught knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously, bachpan se leke abhi tak, about asking for money. And I think when we ask that, especially in the context of India, we also have to ask that ki, as a person coming from my social location, especially of economic, social class, caste and gender, what have been asked or coached when I have to ask for money. Many times, and this is something that I'm sharing from primarily from Apni Shala standpoint, because all three of our co-founders are female, right? When they have gone to ask for money, उनसे सवाल पूछा जाता है, आप कितने साल रहने वाली हैं इसमें, शादी कब करने वाली है, right? Why? And I never get that question. Or however, when I went to ask for money in a really high posh building in Mumbai, I was asked to not use the main entrance because my community से आ रहा था, मेरे कपड़े बहुत एक तरह की महक दे रहे थे. मुझे बोला गया आप पीछे से जाइए, मतलब go from back door, because that is meant for people who are in servants of that building, right? So अभी मैं उस मीटिंग में जब जा रहा हूँ तो उस वक्त कितना भी अच्छा पिच डेक हो, कितनी भी अच्छी प्रिपरेशन हो, I am not going to be able to ask for money, right? So these nuances had to be unpacked, and I think वो कई बार जब हम फंडरेजिंग की बात करते हैं इस बारे में बात नहीं करते, right? हमें लगता है फंडरेजिंग एक स्किल है और सीख जाएंगे, but फंडरेजिंग जब पैसा मांगने का काम है, वो काम is situated in the larger social context. We have to name that and we have to do something about it. That was one. Two, हम सारे लोग एकेडमिक्स थे, हमें हमारा काम बड़ा अच्छे से आता था, हमारे जो एजुकेशन में जो दिक्कत है या लाइफ स्किल्स की कमी है, सोशल इमोशनल लर्निंग पे काम करना है, वो समझ पाते थे वो. And sometimes what happens is जब वो आप बहुत अच्छे से जानते हो तो ये जानना कि इसके बारे में पैसा कैसे मांगना ये हमें नहीं पता था. We have never been taught. It was not part of our master's degree. It was not part of my job profile before, right? Now all of a sudden it's a very new skill. Now loaded with that, the first thing I spoke about, it just becomes कि अगर skill नहीं है, discomfort है, तो वो फिर पीछे पीछे जाता है. So what you spoke about earlier, right? That comes to my third thing कि do we really enjoy asking for money? मजा आता है क्या फंडरेजिंग? और अगर मजा नहीं आता तो स्ट्रेंथ कैसे बिल्ड करेंगे? स्ट्रेंथ नहीं है तो मजा नहीं है, right? So that is like, there was a really interesting cycle for us that it never became a priority for first few years in Apni Shala, because I'll give you an example. Like हम MC म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन में काम करते हैं, वहां पे क्या होता है ना कि you do a lot of partnership work with the government to actually do one session per week. We were okay doing that because we recognize that that is critical for this work, and relational work is critical. But we were not able to see the same thing in the fundraising space because वो लगता था ये हमारा काम नहीं है, हम तो एजुकेशन पे काम करने आए हैं, right? So वो समझ बन पाने में टाइम लग गया. And I also think that Apni Shala was also because this social emotional learning is work was itself so new, or it frankly took us some time to deconstruct it. कि अगर कोई इस फील्ड से नहीं है और उसको ये बात समझानी हो तो कैसे समझाएं कि क्या है ऐसी, right? So that took us, I mean, we are still figuring it out frankly, but 4 साल पहले से भी थोड़ा बेहतर है. And the last point is that not having a decent clarity on who funds, because there's a dominant discourse that CSR funds, right? But there are so many other ways of funding. For example, how do we democratize funding? इसके बारे में कभी सोचा ही नहीं हमने, इंटेंशनली नहीं सोचा. वो हो रहा था, पैसा फॉर एग्जांपल बहुत सारा हमारा रिटेल से ही आता था, राइट? बट उसको हमने एक इंटेंशनल सेगमेंट नहीं देखा, और उसके ऊपर काम जो करते हैं ना, वो आई थिंक इट टुक सम टाइम फॉर अस टू बी एबल टू डू दैट. So yeah, these were some couple of things that comes to my mind to this question.
Really interesting insights, Rohit. And before I move on to hear a little bit from Menak, would love to ask a follow-on question on what you shared, right? Which is, you know, ye maza aana from fundraising. Like, at what point did this happen for you? Like, what was that turning point that fundraising went from this, you know, chore to like, acha, ab mujhe maza aa raha hai ye karne mein. Like, I want to do this, right? So what was that turning point for you and Apni Shala actually?
Sorry, this question was for me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think ये last year हमने थोड़ा इसके ऊपर सोचना शुरू किया because we realized is that this is what is bothering us. Frankly, when we named that, if you look at the fundraising scenarios now, especially in our country, a dominant group of funder comes from high income homes. A dominant group of non-profits come from low income or middle income homes, right? There is a class barrier that exists, and that's not my problem as a leader, right? If I'm coming from a certain social class and I come from a middle class, and many of my team members come from actually low income homes, similar to our children's and their background, right? ऐसा संस्था कैसे बात कर पाएगा एक हाई इनकम होम से जहां पे हमें देखा ही नौकर के नजर जाता है, राइट? उसको डीकंस्ट्रक्ट करना बहुत जरूरी था. Okay, if this is what it is, and we are not going to change that system anytime any soon. However, this work is critical. What do we do about it? So we sat down, we did hours and hours of debrief, particularly in the leadership team, but also in the expanded teams, right? That how do we do, what do we do about it, right? And that kind of led us to certain insights, which I think came from a place of जो हम काम क्लासरूम में बच्चों के साथ करते हैं, राइट? वहां पे भी ये डिफरेंसेस है, वहां सोशल स्ट्रक्चर्स वहां भी प्ले आउट होते हैं, या जब हम गवर्नमेंट के साथ काम करते हैं वहां भी प्ले आउट होते हैं. हाउ आर वी एबल टू मेक दैट स्पेस रिलेशनल without losing our agency? How can we stay in relational spaces with people? Because people are people, and how can we kind of engage in that relational spaces? How can we make spaces facilitative for ourselves and for other people? And I think वो जो काम था ना, वो काम as an organization कर पाना, or especially leadership team who was involved in fundraising, that was one. Two, then also having the clarity that what is Apni Shala's approach to fundraising, right? There are संस्थाएं जो पूरी संस्था fundraising करती है. Then there are organizations जहाँ पे एक fundraising team होती है जो fundraising करती है. We wanted to be somewhere hybrid, right? And that's why I think वो clarity आ पाना, उस पे थोड़ा काम करना जरूरी था हमारे लिए. I think वो जब हम कर पाए तो आज हमारा, for example, we have a hybrid of that. Some part of it team does, some part of it we have a fundraising team जिनका भी part time role है. तो वो कर पाना, clarity ला पाना, and I think ये सब कर पाने के लिए बहुत लोगों ने मदद की है. Definitely, I would say like ILSS as a program that I attended really helped. Atma, Unlimited India, Dasra, they have been like organizations who have helped a lot in thinking about some of these things. So yeah, having right kind of people to support and guide you.
Thanks, Rohit. And I think you raise a really important point that it's important to ask for support and help, right? Like I think कई बार हम नहीं करते हैं ये because we feel कि थोड़ा सा ego आ जाता है इसमें, right? But कई बार the thing is that there are so many people facing the same issue. So why not ask for help, right? Why not learn from others? So thanks for sharing that, Rohit. Really, really interesting perspective. And a lot of people in the audience also seem to be echoing that. I'll now move to Menak, and just following a similar theme of personal sort of reflections and challenges, right? Menak, you've talked about some roadblocks, right, that you personally faced, and which were holding you back, right, as a fundraiser. Can you share a little bit more with us about that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Neha. I think काफी सारी चीजें जो फंडामेंटल आई थिंक एंकर्स है जो मैं शेयर करने जा रहा हूँ वो ऑलरेडी रोहित ने शेयर कर दिया है, बट आई थिंक जो सिर्फ मैं एक ऐड करूंगा, एक जो नुआंस मुझे लगता है मुझे काफी लाइक फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम लाइक सॉर्ट ऑफ स्टॉप्ड मी वाज दिस आइडिया कि मैं पैसे मांग किसके लिए रहा हूँ, राइट? अगर मैं फंड रेज करने जा रहा हूँ तो जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे कहीं ना कहीं पता है अगर आप मुझे 10,000 रुपए दोगे तो इससे शायद 1,000 रुपए मुझे भी मिलेगा, राइट? जो कि मैं 10 अलग अलग काम के लिए इस्तेमाल कर सकता हूँ, राइट? और वो वाला एक रोड ब्लॉक या एक मेंटल ब्लॉक कि फिर क्या मैं अपने लिए पैसे मांग रहा हूँ, क्या ये पैसा मैं खुद इस्तेमाल करूंगा, वो वाला जो रोड ब्लॉक है, वो मेंटल ब्लॉक है, दैट took like some time navigating. And I also feel like for our team, and like Rohit mentioned, we also have some kind of a hybrid model of having some people who are like a small team who's working closely with just fundraising, and then the larger team coming in at different points. I think what has been helpful is to think about what does fundraising do, right? Jab paise aa gaye, what does that enable? And I think that has been a critical factor to get the team moving when we see that fundraising unlocks the ability to do XYZ things in a PQR manner, right? Versus when we do not have that resource, then even अगर हमारे पास पूरा तैयार भी है प्रोडक्ट सर्विस जो भी आप कहना चाहते हो, क्योंकि आपके पास वो रिसोर्स ही नहीं है, आप उसको डिप्लॉय नहीं कर पाओगे. तो वो वाला एक थॉट additionally I think was very very helpful. And I think एक थर्ड एक जो बैरियर है वो ह्यूमिलिटी का बैरियर है. मतलब मुझे पता नहीं इसको कैसे और मैं बेहतर तरीके से बता सकूं, बट आई थिंक मैं पर्सनली बचपन से ऐसे सुनता आ रहा हूँ कि अगर आप अपने काम का ढिंडोरा पीटो तो वो अच्छी बात नहीं है, राइट? मगर फंड रेजिंग में डिमांड करते हैं कि अपने काम का ढिंडोरा पीटो, राइट? आप लिंक्डइन में जाओ, इधर जाओ उधर जाओ, और हम पर्सनल लाइफ में कुछ चॉइसेस करते हैं कि शायद मैं सोशल मीडिया में नहीं रहना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि देयर इज सर्टेन थिंग दैट इफेक्ट्स माय मेंटल हेल्थ, or there is certain thing that I am sort of challenge, like I'm going through, and I don't want to be out there like that. But fundraising demands from fundraisers or from like the leadership team and other team members के आप जाओ, आप लिंक्डइन में बताओ लोगों को आप क्या कर रहे हो, इंस्टाग्राम में पोस्ट करो, ये करो वो करो, क्योंकि दैट इज वेयर पीपल eyeballs are, राइट? तो वहां पे लोग देख रहे हैं. तो अगर 5 लोग, एंड जैसे ये पॉइंट हम बात कर रहे थे कि हु इज द फंडर, तो बहुत बारी ऐसा भी हुआ है हमारे साथ एक दो बारी के हमें पता नहीं है, वी जस्ट रिसीव्ड अ रैंडम ईमेल and it's because we posted, someone from the team shared, someone from the team posted a story. So that's again another navigation ke what is, like when we are sharing something about our work, what is the difference between bragging and sharing, or how do you navigate that? वो जो like dichotomy है उसका आप navigate कैसे कर रहे हो? तो I think वो एक challenge raha hai. I can consistently see a lot of my team members, a lot of my friends still sort of navigate that in their own way. So yeah, I think that's been one of those internal challenges.
Thanks, Menak. Very valid points, and I think it boils down to the personality type of individuals that come into the sector. Like more or less broadly, in majority, we all tend to have certain common traits, right? Personality traits, softer aspects of who we are, which can't be put on a resume, but which really do dictate how we operate and how effective we are. So humility, not really talking about your work, not asking for money, but like if my work is good enough, money should come to me. Like, all of these are definitely mental models that 100% they need to be shattered, because I am yet to come across anyone who can hold on to these views and still raise a lot of money. So unless that person is here in the audience or would like to give a face to this, superhero of social sector fundraising, I completely agree and would echo with what you're saying. Ki ये मेंटल ब्लॉक्स को हमें तोड़ना पड़ेगा, लाइक हमें खुद ही आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा फ्रॉम व्हाट इज होल्डिंग अस बैक एज इंडिविजुअल्स, राइट? सो या,
And if I could just add one small
Sure.
thing Sneha, to it is that I think and I'm going to use some of these words very loosely. हम कहीं ना कहीं कैपिटलिस्ट तरीके से सोशलिस्ट दुनिया बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो उसका भी एक जद्दोजहद है, लाइक वेयर यू आर सेइंग कि अच्छा हम तो सोसाइटी के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, बट हमें जहां से लाइक ये पूरा piece of money milega is a very different ball game altogether. So that is another sort of internal dichotomy that I think a challenge that I personally navigate.
I just wanted to add, Sneha, if that's fine. So agree with Mainak here on this whole thing. कि जितना ये सेक्टर प्रोफेशनल होता जा रहा है, तो हम अपने आप को एक मार्केटिंग और ब्रांडिंग वाले पूरे रोल में देख के और देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, and that has been
you can hear us.
Would
request if you could walk video.
Yes. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, much better. Yeah.
Much better. Yeah. Okay. So I was just saying that this whole ये सेक्टर को हम जितना प्रोफेशनल बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो फिर प्रोफेशनली ही फिर अपने आप को एज अ मार्केटिंग पर्सन देख के एंड देन यू नो पुटिंग out there. So this whole mindset change is very, very important. And like Rohit had said, I just wanted to add on to that, क्योंकि ये क्लास डिफरेंस है, जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं और जिनसे हम पैसे ले रहे हैं, या जो हमारा टारगेट ऑडियंस है ना, जिनके सामने हमें दिखाना है कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं, with them this whole articulation, जैसे मैनेक ने कहा कि लिंक्डइन पे करना या सोशल मीडिया पे करना, वो करने का भी आर्टिकुलेशन करना आना चाहिए ना, कि आप कैसे अपने आप को पहले तो आर यू रेडी टू बी आउट देयर, कंप्लीटली आउट देयर इन फ्रंट ऑफ अदर्स एंड शेयर योर लाइफ एंड शेयर व्हाट यू थिंक. वन इज दैट. द अदर थिंग इज हाउ टू डू इट, यू नो, both of these things. So we've struggled with that as well, to articulate well, to, you know, put it out there and put it in a language which is, you know, which is more in line with the class that we're talking to.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that perspective, Rajul. And you know, would love to ask the audience also to share with us, मतलब जैसे कि you know हम सबने अभी बताया कि हमें personally ऐसे क्या challenges है जो कि you know they hold us back, कि हम नहीं कर पाते हैं you know fundraising, या हमें बहुत मुश्किल लगता है ये काम, या it's like you know हम इसे बिल्कुल avoid करना चाहते हैं, like उस तरीके का जो एक फीलिंग आती है, राइट, टुवर्ड्स फंडरेजिंग. व्हाई डज इट कम? ओके, आई थिंक इट्स अ रियली गुड रिफ्लेक्टिव क्वेश्चन टू ask, or each one of us to ask ourselves, right, and think about what is it that's holding us back, you know, to be effective fundraisers. So this is a great sort of transition into, you know, the next question, which is then in the backdrop of these challenges, right, both external as well as internal, what can we do to change the narrative, right? Or in other ways, put another way, ये जो fundraising mindset की हम बात कर रहे हैं, right? और हमारा जो relationship है with money, how can we change this, right? And Rohit, you know, used something interesting called narrative practices to rethink Apni Shala's relationship with money. And I'd like to first invite him to share, and then I'll invite the other panelists as well to talk a little bit about what can you do to make this mindset shift.
So, Sneha, just to kind of give a little bit of context of what is narrative practices to the audience. Narrative practices एक postmodern therapy practice है, जिससे अपनी शाला का काम काफी heavily informed है. Narrative operates at certain beliefs, and उसमें से जो दो beliefs है ना, उनको मैं खाली ऐसा layout करना चाहूँगा. First belief that narrative believes is that people are not the problem, problem is the problem. So we externalize the problem out of people's bodies, right? तो जैसे हम बच्चों के साथ जब काम करते हैं, हम ये नहीं बोलते कि अच्छा तुम बदमाश बच्चे हो. बदमाशी हो रही है through our bodies for whatever reason. Let's look at that so that we can do something about it, right? So जो ये distress visit होता है ना, जैसे कि अभी ये emotional distress आ रहा है मुझे बिना mentoring or funding boardroom, right? वो distress आ रहा है, can we look at that and can we do something about it? Now that is most of the problems in the world are systemic problems, right? I mean, mental health is a systems issue, right? अभी मैं आपको बोलूं आप अपना mental health ठीक कर लो, when there's discrimination going on, we need to address that, right? So that was first. The people are not the problem. Problem is the problem. And in the same regard, when we are talking about that, about ourselves or about donors, how can we look at it differently? That was one. Two, a narrative also believes that people, however young they are experts of their own lives, which meant that we as Apni Shala would know what worked for us. So can we just take a pause? जितना भी हमको ecosystem से समझ बन रही है fundraising की, can we understand what will work for us? So I think यहाँ पे एक chat में भी question है जहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं कि जो grassroots movements से हम क्या सीख सकते हैं, या फिर जो freedom movements है वहाँ से क्या सीख सकते हैं, जो traditional funding base से नहीं approach कर रहे थे, right? We exactly did that. So one was that when we were sitting down with the team, understanding that जो क्लास बेस्ड इश्यूज हैं उनको हमें अनपैक करना है, और वो काम हमें सिर्फ अकेले नहीं करना है, हमें डोनर्स के साथ करना है. हाउ डू वी डू दैट? सो वी आइडेंटिफाइड हु आर आवर मेजर डोनर्स. कैन वी शिफ्ट इनटू ट्रांजैक्शनल रिलेशनशिप टू रिलेशनल रिलेशनशिप विद देम, right? So that's one work that we did with them, and we also started identifying that there will be some donors who will not fund us, right? And it is okay. How can we become okay with that? And then also looking at, when we were looking at the expertise of Apni Shala, we also looked at what are the different ways of thinking about resources. And in doing that, say for example, we were not leveraging, say, service-based income to a great degree. As a non-profit, you can raise certain amount of money, right, through selling services. Could that be an option? Which is because what we are trying to do, social emotional learning, many people need that right now, and they're ready to pay for it, right? So can we look that as a one of the legit options? Can we look at our community, right? What is their participation? Because many of our parent groups, for example, during COVID times, they were sharing food even though उनके पास कम था. Now हमको relief support के लिए पैसा नहीं है, but then could we create a system where they were able to resource share, right? Or they come and support our students in the classrooms in like किसी ने painting कर दी, किसी. So what are some of the ways to look at resources differently? That was another piece that it offered us when we started doing this work, that अगर हम हमारी expertise, हमारे बच्चों की expertise, हमारी team की expertise, because these are the people who have sustained and responded and resisted to marginalization for generations, right? If we can do that, why can we not also respond to the systemic violence of this class-based lens through which this fundraising is operating from? That became the question, right? So these are some of the things that we were able to do, that when we have to change the narrative for Apni Shala, we also have to look at it from the same work. And I think Sucheta says it really, Sucheta, who's a Dream CEO, she says it really beautifully, that all of our work, especially people who are working in social emotional learning, is facilitative. How can we get into facilitative spaces of developing and building and nurturing relationship with people who are coming and joining us as donors or funders, because those identities will develop, right? जो मैं पहले बात कर रहा था ना कि वो आइडेंटिटी क्या है. अगर वो आइडेंटिटी है कि मैं तुम्हें पैसा दे रहा हूँ और तुम करो, वर्सेस मेरे पास पैसा है, तुम्हारे पास टाइम है, स्किल है, साथ में मिलके करते हैं. कैन वी मूव टुवर्ड्स दैट? एंड दैट्स द वर्क वी, उसके लिए टाइम बनाना फिर संस्था में, कि भाई वो भी जैसे हम गवर्नमेंट पार्टनरशिप्स के लिए टाइम बना रहे हैं, वैसे हमको डोनर पार्टनरशिप्स के लिए टाइम बनाना पड़ेगा, राइट? एंड डोनर्स आर कमिंग विद गुड इंटेंशन. हाउ डू वी ऑल्सो translate that intention into their understanding of this work, their understanding of the space, and uske liye time and space create karna became very, very critical for Apni Shala. I'm not sure if I'm responding to your question, but I'll pause here to check on that.
You are, Rohit. That was really helpful. And just to summarize, मैं थोड़ा इसको एक सिंप्लीफाइड वर्जन में या थोड़ा हिंदी में बताती हूँ कि रोहित जो बेसिकली हमें बता रहे थे वो ये था कि फैसिलिटेटिव होना, मतलब हमें सब काम खुद से नहीं करना है. लाइक if you think of yourself as the sole fundraiser for your organization, then you're somewhere headed towards either burnout or challenges or like really, really difficult cases, right? Like while yes, you might be the only leader in your organization, what Rohit is trying to say is कि हम इस प्रॉब्लम को एक कॉमन प्रॉब्लम की तरीके से सोचे और ये सोचे कि हमारे नेटवर्क में ऐसे क्या रिसोर्सेज है, राइट? वेदर इट इज वॉलंटियर्स, वेदर इट इज द चिल्ड्रन फॉर whom we are actually working and their families, because they are also benefiting, right? Why can't they come in and actually support us? Like sometimes we'll be amazed at how resourceful they are. मतलब उनकी community में इतनी loud voice हो सकती है कि शायद हमें जो लाखों रुपए रेज करने में टाइम लगे वो ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं. I mean, why should we underestimate, right? So breaking that dynamic to say that, you know, there isn't a hierarchy, like everyone can be at the same level, whether it's a donor, whether it's the community we are working with, whether it's your employee, your board member, your, you know, volunteer, the team. How can you think about fundraising as a more you know, kind of an egalitarian exercise, and not a sole exercise? So being resourceful, you know, being facilitative about it, in addition to the rest of your work, maximizing income, as Rohit was saying. So just summarizing a little bit and adding some perspective there. But at this point, I'll hand over to Rajul. You know, and would love to hear your views as well, Rajul, in terms of this mindset and how can you break out of it, and what are some of the things that enable you to do that?
Yeah, I echo with whatever Rohit said, but yeah, one thing, it's a full-time job. It's not seasonal. It's not एक program खत्म हो गया उसके बाद अब हम सोचेंगे. It cannot be like that. It has to be
Rajul, would just
full-time.
request you to
हर रोज
go
हमें
off
इस पे
video again.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, is it better now? Yeah. So
Yes.
so I was saying that it's a full-time job. We've realized that ये कभी कभी प्रोग्राम खत्म होने वाला है 2 महीने में, अब सोचना शुरू करें, अब ये प्रोजेक्ट एंडिंग है, तब हम इस पे नहीं सोच सकते. ये हमें पहले दिन से और हर रोज सोचना है 365 डेज अ ईयर की फंड रेजिंग हमें कैसे करनी है. और उसके लिए वी रियलाइज दैट एक स्ट्रैटेजी बनाना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. दैट इज व्हाट समर्थ हैज बीन डूइंग नाउ, एंड वी रियलाइज टू बिल्ड अ स्ट्रैटेजी, टू बिल्ड अ फंडिंग pipeline basically कि हम किन को अप्रोच करेंगे, and like Rohit was saying, also diversifying our funders, है ना, कि हम अलग अलग तरह के लोगों को करेंगे, not just institutional funders, not just CSR, not just the government, also the people. कैसे उसको और democratize करेंगे, democratize से also sustainable भी हो जाता है वो. I think that's another thing, right? Because the people involved, people who are using your services are going to be there. So that has definitely been one of our this thing. And lastly, like he said, you know, identifying partners and not donors. That's been our strategy. We will look at our strengths. We will look at हम क्या कर सकते हैं. We will figure it out and we will look for partners. We are not looking for that top-down kind of mindset, because yeah, that's difficult to work with. So
Sure.
those are some of our learnings.
Thanks, Rajul, for adding to, you know, what Rohit was saying and sort of also echoing many of those points. We will talk a little bit more about fundraising strategy towards the end. Before we get to that, you know, there's one question which is really interesting, and this is one that I would like to hear all of your views on, right? Which is, let's talk about the practical aspect of fundraising now, right? Like, so we've talked about mindset, we've talked about challenges, we've talked about working on ourselves to be better fundraisers. But from an organizational standpoint and a process and system standpoint, right? What are some tools, what are some things that you do on a day-to-day basis that have really helped you, right? Like, these are habits, or they could be tech tools, or they could be people you speak to. If you can give 1 or 2 practical examples of things that have worked for you, I think it could be a great learning for you know, the audience today. Yeah. Mehnat, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I think the first thing that worked for I think us, or is, I would rather say, something that we are finding value in doing, is dividing the funder life cycle. तो एक होता है, जैसे आप सोचते हो कि हाँ इनके पास शायद हम रीच आउट कर सकते हैं इनको, से लेके अगर वो कन्वर्ट हो रहे हैं और वो आपको फंड कर रहे हैं, टू सॉर्ट ऑफ ensuring that they are involved in the work, like Rohit said, that how do you build that partnership, how do you build that relationship to a point where, you know, you make an ask again. So that whole cycle jo hai, what we've done is we've divided it into 2 parts. So one is where we call pursue, and the other is where we call retain, right? And then we've sort of very clearly fixed कि pursue में हम ये activities करते हैं और retain में हम ये activities करते हैं. और जब एक donor और एक funder is in a certain sort of phase in this cycle, we then ensure that वहाँ पे जो उनका experience है वो एकदम strongly aligned है and strongly sort of हम उस पे फोकस कर रहे हैं. There's literally like a checklist of things that we will do. Like अगर आप you've already committed and you are giving us contributions to do our work, then there are 5 things that we will do with you. And what, although like Aja, when I say it sounds very simple, but I think the basic idea behind it is to ensure that there is consistency of an experience. जब आप relationship, मतलब अगर आप relationship के उसमें सोचो, there has to be certain things that you consistently do. You make time for relationships, for you to nurture relationships. And this is exactly that. What we saw in the former years was कि जब हम वो अच्छा और फंडर चाहिए, और फंडर कहाँ पे मिलेगा, कहाँ है ये लोग, ये हम करते रहते थे. तो जो हमें ऑलरेडी फंड कर रहे हैं उनके साथ बातें करना बंद हो जाता था. एंड फिर साल में जब एंड में फिर से मांगने का समय होता था और वी हैड टू गो एंड मेक एन आस्क अगेन, दैट इज व्हेन वी रिमेंबर देम अगेन कि अच्छा अच्छा चलो चलो अभी कुछ उनको अपडेट देते हैं, राइट. बट डिवाइडिंग दिस हैज मेड श्योर दैट वी हैव अ कंसिस्टेंट चैनल ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. So that has been very very helpful. And then with the pursue piece, I think वहां पे 2 spaces है. एक तो researching on who are the organizations, individuals, foundations, institutions who fund something that you do. The second is also the prep, which is around ensuring that you have the documents ready, you have the due diligence की जो चीजें हैं, you have that kit ready. जो आप कहना चाहते हो, जैसे there is very like कॉमन चीजें पूछ रहे हैं सब लोग कि आपका लॉग फ्रेमवर्क क्या है, आप इम्पैक्ट कैसे मेजर करोगे, आपका ऑपरेशंस प्लान क्या है, बजट क्या है. तो वो सारी चीजें एक पहले से प्रिपेयर करके रखना शुरुआत में ईयर के या एंड ऑफ द ईयर एज वी स्टार्ट द नेक्स्ट ईयर, व्हाटएवर योर साइकिल्स आर, उसके बेसिस पे वो तैयार करके रखना is very very important. And I think that has been very helpful. And what we do, I'll close with this last practice, that we have for each program built a master sheet which has all the things that we know about this program, want to talk about this program, from vision to concept to theory to ये जितने भी दुनिया भर के frameworks जो अलग अलग लोग मांग सकते हैं, all of that. And you will see, like what I've noticed is that after a certain point all frameworks are the same, their headings are different, that's it, right? So you have all of that ready so that when you find कि okay so and so institution can be reached out to, your turnaround time from identifying to reaching out to them is sort of narrowed, and you don't have to then start preparing कि अच्छा अभी लिखने बैठो, वो नहीं होगा. That has been reduced. And often what happens that people like our current supporters will introduce us to someone and say, why don't you talk to them? Now, if I take a week to go back to them, then that does not sort of work. So I have to almost reach out to them as quick as possible. So wahan pe I think this prep really works. And yeah, I think this is where I will stop.
Thanks, Menak. And just want to maybe double tap a bit on like what you said, 2 things. I think one is the research orientation. The other is also like, you know, this common framework or like a master program information. This is something that like we also really advocate for, and there's a lot of value in doing this. So for, you know, participants on the call, if you're not doing this, think about it, explore it. It's actually a very simple but a very powerful fundraising tool, which is called a master proposal. You can call it a master program document. You can call it by any name, but it's a master. Master means कि जो भी मतलब no matter who is the donor, right? वो individual है या CSR है या foundation है, Indian है या national, you know, foreign है, your information will come from that single document, right? And this also helps to depersonalize the process. Like मतलब फिर ये आप पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं होगा. लाइक सपोज मेहनत की तबीयत खराब हो गई और वो 1 हफ्ता नहीं अवेलेबल है, तो कोई भी उस डोनर को रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर रहा है, बिकॉज नोबडी नोज व्हाट इन्फॉर्मेशन टू पुट, राइट? सो दिस इज आल्सो अबाउट democratizing, you know, going back to what Rohit was saying, how can you democratize your fundraising? One of the things is to have strong common like systems and documented information, right? So and then the second thing I just want to add on is this information about the donor, right? Or what Menak was referring to as being prepared. One really simple tool that we found to be very effective is something called a donor dossier, right? We call it a dossier. It's a fancy term, but it's just a report. It's a donor report. Say you're approaching XYZ donor, you're having a conversation with them. It will only take you like maximum 2 hours to go on Google, go to their website, download their annual report or their CSR report, or their look at their reported project if it's a philanthropy or foundation, and understand them, right? So like it's important to understand them, because your pitch and the way you talk to them, and वो इतने बड़े master documents से कौन सी 3 चीजें हैं जो कि तुम्हें बोलनी है, right, which will hit it on the nail. Like it has to be relatable to the donor, right? So this can really like support your efforts if you invest that time in the donor research. 1 to 2 hours can tremendously increase your chances of conversion with the donor. It will also make you feel very confident. Like one is about information, the second is you'll feel prepared. You'll go into the conversation thinking ki, I know them, I understand them. This is not an unknown stranger that I'm going and talking to about my organization. So just wanted to add a little bit perspective to what Menak said. But yes, would love to go back to the panelists. Rohit, Rajul, please share with us 1 or 2 tools that you use in your organizations.
I think I'll go off the video now, right? Yeah. So continuing from what Menak said, one thing we've realized is communication is the key, and there's nothing like overdoing it. Yeah, too much communication, there's nothing like it. So what we've realized, especially to individual donors, especially to philanthropists who really want to be involved and know what is the impact, what is happening, उनका जो उन्होंने पैसे दिए उसका कैसे last mile तक पहुंच रहा है और कैसे लोगों को वो impact कर रहा है, what are the change stories that are happening. So not waiting for quarter reports or not year-end reports or whatever the cycle is, but giving some kind of a regular update on a very, very, so we've now kind of made a like a dossier kind of a thing, जिसमें हम बोलते हैं कि individual donors or philanthropists. I'm not talking about institutional donors, क्योंकि वो लोगों के पास वैसे भी, and they are quite fixed in their cycles of communication. But the others we've realized are really involved, really, they really want to know what is happening in terms of photographs, in terms of even raw, unedited footage of what work is being happening, just some regular sharing, thoda bahut email per, kabhi WhatsApp pe if they are comfortable about it. So I think that has helped a lot to not just continuing, but for them to feel involved, for them to feel that they're part of us, they're truly partners. And they, sometimes they will also give us feedbacks. Sometimes they'll also give us कि अच्छा आप ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं, या मेरा एक दोस्त है जो इसमें interested है, वो आपको और support कर सकता है. So I think that has been a big learning for us. हम लोग भी शुरुआत में ठीक है रिपोर्ट्स भेज दी और फिर सोशल मीडिया पे डाल दिया, ये 2 चीजों में हम वो करते थे. But then this whole regular communication individually to each donor, I think that has helped a lot to kind of continue engagement with them. Yeah,
I think for me, +1 to everything that you all have said, like I'm learning from, मैं कुछ ना कुछ चीजें मैं खुद ही यूज करने वाला हूँ. But 3 चीजें मैं बात करूंगा. एक तो, and as it turns out, my focus today is looks like internalities. So पहला तो कि transparency and accountability. Ongoingly ensure करना that all of our processes, not even waiting for the funder to ask, but audit खुद के processes को करते रहना, ताकि जब हम जो बोल रहे हैं किसी भी पार्टनर को वही हो रहा है ग्राउंड पे, राइट? वो ऑनगोइंग, चाहे वो फाइनेंस ऑडिट हो, चाहे वो प्रोग्राम ऑडिट हो, चाहे वो एचआर ऑडिट हो, whatever. And if there's a problem, communicating immediately, not waiting till the end. And I think that is something that we have learned at Inshallah, that is very, very, very critical, and we ensure that happens. Like we don't even, अगर हमारे पास अभी कोई CSR funder नहीं है, we don't even wait for our systems to be in place. So transparency and accountability for ourselves, and then that's just good practice for doing decent work, right? So that is something that I would say that we have been focused on. 2, I think जो मैं मजे की बात कर रहा था, right? Ensure करना कि जो team इस पे काम करे वो मजा करे. So I'll give one example, like especially in an online setting, हम सारे लोग work from home कर रहे हैं या different locations कर रहे हैं. It becomes very, very challenging for us to really feel like a team. तो fundraising team 3 लोगों की team है, मैं, निरंजन और अदिति, and they are lovely team members for me. So अपन ने क्या करना शुरू किया? We said we were meeting for work, but then we were not really feeling like a team. So what we did was Monday mornings and Thursday mornings, we said 9:30 to 11:30 is our fundraising workspace. What we will do is we don't have to meet and talk up every time. We will come online. All 3 of us will be online. We will do our work. अगर कुछ meeting है बात करना, just like we would have done in an office setting. So how do we ensure that that time is one built for doing the fundraising work, and two, it is built with joy? या frustration आ रही है तो उसके ऊपर बात हो पाए, या किसी फंडर ने रिजेक्ट कर दिया, बुरा लग गया, उसके ऊपर चर्चा होनी चाहिए, right? How do we create space for that within the organization to ensure that that happens? And third, I think adding on to what Rajul was saying, what are the ways of communications and how those communications are also aligned with the vision and philosophy of fundraising. अगर हम बोल रहे हैं partner हैं या friends हैं या co-travelers हैं in this journey of the work that we are taking on, is the communication also aligned to that? So am I only sending a report which is very formal, or are there different ways that suits the funder? Right? So say for example in Apnishara what we did was हमने सारे funders जिन्होंने 100 रुपया दिया, जिन्होंने 10 लाख दिया, सबको एक common list में डाला. उसके बाद then what we did was we reached out to them, understanding what is the kind of communication they will engage with. And we also did our own bandwidth check. हमने बोला कि भाई हम WhatsApp पे send भेजना है तो हर हफ्ते तो नहीं भेज सकते, महीने में एक बार भेज सकते हैं, right? So identifying WhatsApp के थ्रू क्या बात हो सकती है, reports के थ्रू क्या बात होनी चाहिए, emails के थ्रू क्या होनी चाहिए, and who is okay with what. Once that mapping was done, then we created groups, broadcast channels on WhatsApp or email blast groups, etc. And now we use that. And what it also does is it creates more space for communication, right? Abhi hamara, for example, school reopening kal hua, right, in Mumbai. And we had to just communicate that to some of the donors who've been supporting that, just sharing a picture and like, this is what has happened. Because that's what we will do with partners, right? Or with colleagues. Same way. How do we extend that same partnership with people that we are actually intending to be partners with?
Thanks, Rohit, for those really great insights, and all of you, honestly, Benak, Rajat as well. And there's an interesting comment that's come for you in the chat box, and I would echo that. Raising fund with smile and joy. Yes, like, maybe we need to just start a movement of like, the F in fundraising is fun, right? Like there is fun. And actually this is not my quote. This has been talked about by a lot of people who focus their time on fundraising, that it can be fun, it can be exciting, it can be looked at in a very positive way. But of course, it takes a while to get there as well. I won't say it's obvious and ki matlab sabko karna chahiye. Kabhi you also need to have some wins, some successes to make you feel like you can do this. So yeah, just touching upon that light note. Also keeping check of the time, we have about half an hour to go. We have a last question for the panelists, and after that we will be moving into question and answer. So at this point, if anybody else has any other questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. And this is the last question that we'll be taking as a panel from my side, which is, what about this fundraising strategy, right, that we talked about? It's not common for all organizations to have this, but many of you, in this discussion as well, have called it out as something that, you decided to do. At some point in your journey, you were like, abhi ye day to day nahi ho payega, like kuch ek plan chahiye, ek strategy chahiye. What is the right time to do this? Like, when should an organization think about a fundraising strategy? Because maybe we feel कि अभी हम बहुत छोटे हैं, बहुत young है, अभी तो हमने काम शुरू किया है, अभी ये plan वैन नहीं हो पाएगा, पहले देखते हैं, how things go, let's try it out, right? But what are the advantages or the merits of planning and thinking through your strategy? Like, and when you build a strategy, how long do you build it for? Are you talking about 1 year ki aap 5 saal ki baat kare, 3 saal ki baat kare? So can you all share a little bit about your experiences with developing a fundraising plan or a fundraising strategy?
Okay, I can start off. I think पहले तो मैं बोलना चाहूँगा that the word strategy comes with its own sort of baggage. तो मतलब I think for us when we were starting off, कुछ fundamental सवाल थे जो हमें answer करने थे. एक first सवाल कि हम कहाँ काम कर रहे हैं, right? हम कहाँ काम कर रहे हैं, and who are the people who we know can support this sort of demographic and geography, right? The second is, what are we doing and what do we want to talk about? Like, what is that world that we are envisioning? हम क्या किस चीज के बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं? I think that is the second question. The third element is to understand कि, like, a little bit of studying the landscape is important to understand that, the kind of work that we are doing and at the scale that we are doing it, who will, like, who, if we reach out, will sort of, the rate of conversion is higher. Like, for example, if we are doing like really small work in only a few schools and reaching out to a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or to, I don't know, like some massive foundation might not be the right use of energy. तो figuring out कि आप अगर ऐसे run कर रहे हो तो शायद ये वाला program some इस तरीके के institutions या organizations के साथ या individuals के साथ better हो सकता है. And I think once you've answered this, this is your first strategy. You know who you want to reach out to, what are you talking to them about, and that's it, right? But what it does is it sort of focuses your sort of approach. क्योंकि otherwise आपने अगर किसी भी ये funds for NGOs and ये वो वाला उनके न्यूज़लेटर को सब्सक्राइब किया, हर रोज वो आपको 10 बता देंगे कि ये 10 जगह जाओ, ये लोग फंड कर रहे हैं. When you open their thing, you see कि वो नहीं कर रहे. So having that clear idea कि हाँ मेरा जो काम है right now, I think इंडिविजुअल ज्यादा फंड करेंगे, या जैसे रोहित ने कहा कि रिटेल डोनेशन से ज्यादा काम हो सकता है, या फिर एक रेवेन्यू जनरेशन हम कर सकते हैं अपने सर्विसेज को सबके लिए एक्सेस, सबको एक्सेस देके. तो वो फिगर आउट करना कि हाँ इस तरीके से हो सकता है, एंड देन फोकसिंग योर एनर्जी on that piece, and then everything you're doing your research, even when you're writing that master document, all of that is kept like done keeping that in mind. And I think as you grow, how are you collecting the data? I think that is the second point कि कौन आपको कितने पैसे दे रहा है, क्या cycles में दे रहा है, उनके motivations क्या है, जो ये आप relationship build कर रहे हो, वो सारी चीजें फिर आती है क्या ठीक है मेरे जो retail donors है जो कि मुझे between 1 to 5 lakh rupees दे रहे, इनके motivation है कि they have come from very humble backgrounds and education has been a life changer for them, right? Now then I know that this is like a big group persona जो मेरा हो गया, and then I have people who are donating probably like a certain more amount जिसका अलग persona है. तो धीरे धीरे I think start off, don't start, because you will never have data to start off at this level. Start off by like मेरे हिसाब से है कि we answering those fundamental questions, and then keep collecting data as you build the relationship. Also, like it sounds very like bad, but when you're building that relationship, remember things that they are saying, right? And then see that how can you make whatever they have said, how can you use that to make their experience more meaningful, and hence your ask more strategic and more sharp. So I think that's the starting point. But I think Sneha, you will have more to say about how to build a strategy that way. Yeah, over to Rohit and Rajul.
Yes.
I think for us, sorry, Sneha, were you going to say?
No, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think for us it was primarily like अगर संस्था की strategy है या संस्था का direction है, strategy, vision, plan, जो भी बोलना चाहें, वो है, उसके बाद comms की strategy, fundraising strategy, सारी strategies होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इट्स लाइक अगर जो मेन काम है उसका डायरेक्शन है तो फिर वो काम का सपोर्ट कहां से आएगा उसका भी डायरेक्शन होना चाहिए. तो फॉर अस, फॉर एग्जांपल इन 17-18 व्हेन वी वर एबल टू कॉल आउट व्हाट इज अपनीशाला's 5-year plan, देन वी वर एबल टू आल्सो देन स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग. अच्छा, अपनीशाला का कॉम्स प्लान क्या है, अपनीशाला का फंड रेजिंग स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लान क्या है. इट टुक टाइम, वो समझने में वो नहीं बनाया था एक्चुअली फ्रैंकली हमने, बट अब इट इज ओनली इन रेट्रोस्पेक्ट आई एम थिंकिंग दैट वो होना चाहिए था. We made our fundraising plan only in the 4th year of our strategic plan, right? Because the time nahi tha, resources nahi the, वगैरह वगैरह. But in retrospect, I think that is something I would want to redo if I redo the अपनीशाला strategy.
Yeah. So for us, we were actually, we are present in three geographies. So we work in Ahmedabad, Kutch and Chhattisgarh. So we work in urban as well as rural areas, and we work across sectors. We work on education, on disability, on water, on livelihood. So each of it had different strategies, or each program. So the way we built our strategy was कि overall हम ये 5 साल में इस program को हम कहाँ ले जाना चाहते हैं? What are the outcomes that we expect at the end of 5 years? What is the basic cost that we need from this? And then looking at it sector wise, सेक्टर वाइज, मतलब कि एजुकेशन कौन कौन डोनर्स हैं जो इंटरेस्टेड है एजुकेशन को फंड करने के लिए, रूरल एजुकेशन कौन से डोनर्स इंटरेस्टेड है, अर्बन एजुकेशन कौन से डोनर्स इंटरेस्टेड है, और फिर ज्योग्राफी वाइज कि कौन सा CSR वहां पर प्रेजेंट है, अहमदाबाद में कौन सा CSR है जो जहां जिन बस्तियों में हम काम करते हैं उसके आसपास कौन है, कहाँ कच्छ में कौन है, छत्तीसगढ़ में कौन है, एंड देन काइंड ऑफ that was how we did a 5-year strategy plan basically, and each program had a different strategy. So not like a one size fits all kind of, even internally we did a different strategy for each program depending, क्योंकि जैसे disability program we are doing since 20 years, livelihood is since 7 years, so it had a different trajectory depending on where the program was at that point of time and what were the outcomes that were expected. Also the geography, like I said, कितनी जरूरत है, कितने समय के बाद हमें लगा कि शायद ये सस्टेनेबल हो जाएगा, किसी तरह हम गवर्नमेंट प्रोग्राम्स के साथ इसको मर्ज कर पाएंगे या अडेप्ट हो पाएगा या फिर कम्युनिटी लीड कर पाएगी. डिपेंडिंग ऑन दैट वी काइंड ऑफ डिजाइन्ड अ स्ट्रेटजी प्लान फॉर ourselves.
Interesting. I think what is interesting is कि आप सबका approach अलग है, right? Like actually all of you have talked about many different ways of doing the same thing. And I think to that point, I would add that there is no one right way of building a strategy. There are certain elements of it that need to be there, but it needs to be contextualized to your stage as an organization, right? Like अगर आप बहुत early stage है versus कि आप बहुत ही established है, आपका approach बिल्कुल ही अलग होगा, आपका time frame भी अलग होगा, and everything will be different, right? So there's no one size fit all. मतलब आप खुद की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन संस्था के लिए सोच सकते हैं कि what is the plan that I need, right? And like Menak is saying, maybe drop the word strategy because sometimes it's too much of a burden to carry, right? Think of it as a plan, just a plan. What's your plan, right? Like, do you have one right now? So I think those were some really great takeaways and insights as well. We have concluded our sort of question and answer part of this webinar, and we'd like to now open the floor to questions. So kuch questions already aa chuke hain. I will start by reading those and I'll keep it open for the panel. Most of them are open, so anyone who would like to go, Menak, Rohit, Rajul, please feel free to take it up. In the meantime, agar aise kuch questions hai jo aapne ab tak nahi puche hain, please add them in the chat box and we'll take it up. Okay, so while writing proposals, we face challenges in answering questions like this: what is the sustainability of your program? This is an organization that's active in the disability sector, and they have relatively slow impact. So they struggle to answer this question around sustainability. We have not come across any such model having exit policy related to disability education. I know this is a question very specific to children facing these challenges, but in your experiences around, I think the broader question here is sustainability, right? Like, how do you talk about the sustainability of your program? Would love to hear any of your thoughts on this.
I'd just like to go. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to go first, since we are also working on disability and children with intellectual disabilities. And this is a challenge. This is a good question because ये सभी को ऐसे लगता है कि अच्छा फिर क्या होगा, बाद में क्या होगा, 5 साल बाद ये बच्चे कहाँ पे पहुंचेंगे. And for intellectual disabilities, there is usually nothing that you can do. तो we are pretty upfront. हम बोलते हैं कि ये हमेशा जरूरत रहेगी, किसी न किसी हद तक तो जरूरत रहेगी. हम एक एक्सटेंट तक उनको इंडिपेंडेंट बनाने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं. एंड 7-8 साल पहले हमने अपने डिसेबिलिटी सेंटर के साथ में एक वोकेशनल सेंटर भी इसीलिए स्टार्ट किया था, बेसिकली आंसरिंग the whole sustainability question that जब ये बच्चे एडल्टहुड में एंटर करेंगे एंड अगर उस लेवल तक पहुंचे कि ये थोड़ा बहुत काम कर सकते हैं, तो किस तरह से उनको फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस दी जाए. ये समझ के साथ कि इनको हमेशा इस तरह का सुपरविजन चाहिए होगा जिसमें पीपल आर सेंसिटिव, पीपल आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. एकदम आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड में या इन द हार्श दिस थिंग यू कैन नॉट सेंड देम, बट हाउ कैन दे स्टिल कंट्रीब्यूट मीनिंगफुली, especially financially, to their own existence and to the society? How can you do that? So that has been one of our strategies. One is adding on to the vocational center, and the other thing is, like I said, कि कुछ तो हम बताते ही हैं कि इसमें ये नहीं कि ये बच्चा ग्रेजुएट हो जाएगा और उसके बाद उसका जॉब लग जाएगा और उसके बाद he become independent. इस तरह के आउटकम आप डिसेबिलिटी उसमें आप सोच नहीं सकते. They will probably need some support, some this thing till they are there till but हम ये कोशिश कर सकते हैं कि कुछ बच्चे जो अर्ली इंटरवेंशन मतलब हम जिनके साथ जल्दी शुरू कर लें वो एक हद तक पहुंच जाएं ताकि उनको हमारे सपोर्ट की जरूरत नहीं रहे, और जो बहुत ही हायर डिसेबिलिटीज हैं उन्हें तो जरूरत रहेगी.
I think I'll just +1 to Rajul, क्योंकि हमारे काम में भी वही होता है कि हमारा काम का इम्पैक्ट लॉन्ग टर्म दिखता है. और एक चीज है वो क्लैरिफाई कर लेना कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी का मतलब है क्या, सामने वाले के लिए क्या है और आपके लिए क्या है, क्योंकि वो क्लैरिफाई हो जाएगा तो फिर बात आगे कर सकते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि फॉर एग्जांपल सोशल इमोशन लर्निंग के काम की सस्टेनेबिलिटी नहीं है, बट अगर सस्टेनेबिलिटी मतलब ये है कि आप 3 साल काम कीजिए और निकल जाइए ताकि वो काम कोई और कर पाए, तो वो नहीं होगा. अगर सस्टेनेबिलिटी को नए नजरिए से देख सकते हैं तो उसमें बात हो सकती है. आई थिंक दैट्स समथिंग व्हिच आई थिंक आई हैव फाउंड इट यूजफुल, दैट वो क्लैरिफाई कर लेना कि व्हाट डू वी रियली मीन बाय सस्टेनेबिलिटी.
Right.
And also I think when we talk about donor and organization fit, तो I think ये बहुत important piece है, क्योंकि अगर आपका आइडिया ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी वर्सेस जो आपको फंड कर रहे हैं उनका आइडिया ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी अलग है, then to sort of break your head on responding it so that they align with it is I don't think is the right approach there. So sort of figuring out maybe that is a no-go then. And similarly, I think in the chat box, someone has asked, sometimes donors want immediate outcome and impact. How do you go about it? If your work does not do immediate outcome, then that's not a donor that you can reach out to. I think it's a simple no there. So that's also something I think that we need to keep in mind.
Yeah. Thanks all of you for sharing your perspective. Sonali, I hope that does answer your question. In case of any follow-up, just put it in the chat box and we'll try to take it offline. There's another question that's come in, which is, around कि पैंडेमिक के टाइम पर जो कि छोटी संस्थाएं एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस थी वो रिलीफ एफर्ट्स में इतना बिजी हो गई थी एंड दे वांटेड टू जस्ट कंटिन्यू वर्क फॉर चिल्ड्रन बिकॉज द स्कूल्स वर शट, कि उनके पास मतलब मेंटल बैंडविड्थ या टाइम ही नहीं था टू थिंक अबाउट अरेंजिंग फॉर फंडिंग और रिसोर्सेज, राइट? इन सिचुएशंस लाइक दीज, how do you raise funds? So I think what might be relevant here to hear from each one of you is your experiences doing fundraising during the pandemic in the backdrop, because I think most of you might have definitely engaged in some or the other kind of relief effort or support of effort. So how did you fundraise during the pandemic along with all of this?
I can go. I think for us, Sneha, our work was responding to pandemic from a mental health lens. So that way, it was not very away, because when we talk about a pandemic, there's a very direct correlation with pandemic and people's psychosocial well-being, right? So we kind of repurposed or repositioned ourselves in that from that lens, and also we've said that rather than now doing group facilitation, we will now do one-on-one well-being check-ins with families and students. So some of that kind of was useful. That also thinking that is our work responsive right now in the context, is it really relevant in the context? So we asked that question, and what part of it can be and what part of it cannot be. So say for example, पहला 3 महीना हमें actually खाना देना पड़ा families को because नहीं था घर में खाना, right? Now that is not very directly linked to what we do on day-to-day basis, but what it was definitely was part of when you study the psychosocial first aid. In times of relief has to be first we have to take away the systemic issues that is impacting mental health, right? So usme fir khana dena becomes a systemic issue, and we had to kind of respond to that. So we kind of spoke to our funders from that lens, and because most of our funders were in that space to understand what's going on, that really worked for us in that situation. And in some cases we didn't get the funding because funder ka medical attention pe chale gaya paisa, and that was okay. Abhi kya karenge wahan pe, wo bhi to need hai.
Thanks for sharing that, Rohit. And can I also request the other panelists to answer this in Hindi? This question has come in Hindi, so just to be responsive to that.
I think जो एक तो रोहित ने जो कहा कि मतलब हम कैसे अपने प्रोग्राम को उस तरीके से ढाल रहे हैं कि वो करंट नीड को एड्रेस कर पाए. दूसरी चीज जो हम लोगों ने किया था SEF में वो ये था कि क्योंकि सडनली एक ऑपरेशन अलग तरीके का ऑपरेशन एड ऑन हो गया था जब हम लोग भी रिलीफ वर्क करने लगे थे, और वो मैनेज करना, उसको सॉर्ट ऑफ डिजाइन करने में काफी समय चला गया था. तो आई थिंक एक चीज जो हमने किया कि हमारे कुछ सपोर्टर्स हमने अर्ली ऑन आइडेंटिफाई कर लिए थे, एंड फिर हमने उनको बताया कि क्या आप हमें मदद कर सकते हो और रिसोर्सेज लाने के लिए, एंड आई थिंक वो काफी हमारे लिए हेल्पफुल था। तो एक चीज जो है, फंड रेजिंग इज अ कांस्टेंट एक्टिविटी ऑफ इंक्रीजिंग एंड बिल्डिंग योर नेटवर्क, राइट? तो अगर आज आपको कोई फंड नहीं भी कर रहा है, मगर वो नेसेसरी है कि आप कुछ रिलेशनशिप बना के रखो, क्योंकि हमें एक्चुअली 2-3 जगह से फंडिंग आई थी ड्यूरिंग द पैंडेमिक, जिन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ने हमें हमारे एक्चुअल वर्क के लिए फंड करने को मना कर दिया था। बट कोविड के टाइम they were doing COVID relief work and they said कि okay, we will give you the money because it is now aligned. तो उस तरीके से just because someone is saying no, उसको information देना बंद नहीं करना है। कुछ तरीके से you have to keep sort of that loop alive. So yeah.
For us, we've been lucky. हमारे कई सारे डोनर्स जो पुराने डोनर्स थे, उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं, प्रोजेक्ट का जो पैसा है वो आप रिलीफ में कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि तुरंत नीड ये थी, जरूरत ये थी, है ना। सो दैट वाज वन थिंग। द अदर थिंग दैट वी रियलाइज्ड ड्यूरिंग दिस टाइम वाज कि इंडिविजुअल अपील्स रियली हेल्प अस अ लॉट। सो जो काम हम प्रोजेक्ट के बाहर कर रहे थे, उसमें हमने रियलाइज किया कि इंडिविजुअल अपील्स, छोटे छोटे अपील्स बना के दोस्त के दोस्त व्हाट्सएप पे डालना, फेसबुक पे डालना, जो भी उस एरिया में जो लोग रहते हैं, इवन डोर टू डोर डालना, दैट वाज वेरी हेल्पफुल। सो मुझे ये लगता है कि अफाक, अगर आप थोड़ा कोशिश करके देखा जा सकता है। मुझे पता नहीं है अगर आपने ये ऑलरेडी ट्राई किया है या नहीं किया है, but we felt that individual appeals, and most of what our programs, we kind of integrated COVID relief into the program itself, so that it was not a different program, but it was an integrated effort. But I think also what helped Samarth a lot was individual donors. Like Menak said, money came in from sources we had never expected. People who were till then not very forthcoming in giving money, at least they thought कि नहीं, किसी ना किसी तरह से मुझे भी contribute करना है। So either cash or kind. हमने लोगों को ये भी invite किया था कि अगर food के द्वारा आप करना चाहते हैं, books के द्वारा करना चाहते हैं, किसी भी तरह अगर आप करना चाहते हैं, तो that would be welcome from our side.
Some really interesting learnings there. We'll take the last two questions, but in the interest of time, I will request one of the panelists to share their answer. So let's take the question that has just come from Nisha. Nisha पूछ रही है कि she's curious to understand how have you navigated the issue of funder wanting to only fund program but not invest in the organizational overhead such as people cost. So Rajul, do you want to take this since this was a point that you had made during the discussion?
Just one sec. Yeah. Who's asking this question? I'm sorry, everyone.
Nisha is asking this question.
Nisha. Okay. Hi, Nisha. So, जहां तक मैं समझ पा रही हूँ, आप ये कहने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं प्रोग्राम कॉस्ट, मतलब प्रोग्राम में जो लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं उनका कॉस्ट तो दे आर रेडी टू बेयर, बट नॉट रेडी टू बेयर दी ओवरऑल एचआर कॉस्ट। अब हमारा बेसिकली, लाइक आई सेड, जैसे हम डोनर्स डाइवर्सिफाई करते हैं, वैसे प्रोग्राम्स भी डाइवर्सिफाई करते हैं। सो कुछ प्रोग्राम्स ऐसे होते भी हैं, सम डोनर्स एक्चुअली से दैट वी विल नॉट पिक अप एनी काइंड ऑफ एडमिन कॉस्ट, और हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का कोई ना कोई एडमिन कॉस्ट तो होता ही है, जैसे ड्यू डिलिजेंस कॉस्ट है, अकाउंटिंग कॉस्ट है, द लीडर्स कॉस्ट जो टाइम है, या जो हम स्ट्रैटेजी का टाइम बोल रहे हैं, ये सब टाइम तो है ही, हर प्रोग्राम में इन्वॉल्व है ही, एंड दे सेड दैट वी विल नॉट पिक अप एनी। सो दैट डिपेंड्स हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट द प्रोग्राम इज। If it has been very very important for us to continue the program, we have said that ठीक है, अगर आप प्रोग्राम कॉस्ट करेंगे तो we will at least that HR cost of the program has to be borne by you. Maybe the admin cost is not, and in some cases we have also kind of said no to it and said that no, we would not be able to go forward with it.
If I can just add one quick perspective, Nisha, raising unrestricted funding is probably another solution to this. So when you raise from individuals, generally it tends to be unrestricted. It doesn't come with terms, conditions, and strings attached. You can use the funding. So generally keeping that funding aside for non-programmatic or admin expenses is another way in which you could navigate this complexity. Okay. there was one last question which has come earlier, which is, when you don't have a direct contact with an organization, how do you identify and get through to the right person to pitch for the CSR grant? Menak, Rohit, would either of you like to take this?
Yeah, I can go ahead with it. I think one of the things that मतलब हम लोगों ने जो notice किया है वो ये है कि basically asking for that connection. तो अगर जैसे for example मैंने identify कर लिया है कि X organization शायद हमारे साथ aligned है, तो just reaching out to your current network asking for connections. I think वो बहुत important है, and like it has always been helpful to find someone who is in the organization and then reach out through that sort of road. So I am not a very big believer of like consistently sending cold emails out there in the air, but I am a big believer in just asking on different sort of platforms के on WhatsApp groups and ये कोई मुझे आप किसी को जानते हो जो इस कंपनी में काम करते हैं. And getting that. And last year, actually, I just randomly put a post on Instagram saying, if you know someone in Google, just connect us with them. And we got like I got some 50, 60 of my friends who don't work in Google, but know people in Google, reach out saying, acha, mera ye dost kya chahiye bata. And then I sort of did the work that that we needed to do. So I think just asking is very, very important.
Great. Thank you, Menak. And with that, I'm going to wrap up our Q&A section for the day. I know that there are some additional questions that have come into the chat box, and we can possibly try and take them offline or get back to you on the same. At this point, I'd just like to mention that the Wipro Foundation has just shared a link to their latest issue of the Samohik Pehal magazine, which in November is focusing completely on the topic of fundraising. So there are many articles in this some of them written by us who are here on this webinar, and additional articles as well, which you can read. There are also resource links mentioned, तो आप जाके और further article पढ़ सकते हैं, कुछ tools देख सकते हैं जो हमने suggest किए हैं in addition to what has been discussed today. So we would really encourage all of you to read that. We will also get back to you on templates, right, which we have promised as an email. I'll just maybe take a quick minute to summarize like what we've gone through today in this discussion. We started out talking about externalities and external challenges that we face as nonprofits around due diligences, restrictions on funding, mandate mismatch, plug and play solutions being the norm, trying to look for multi-year grant but struggling with that. All of these are some of the external challenges that nonprofits tend to face. Internally, very often the challenges tend to start with us as individuals, and that was sort of the reflective space we had today to talk about how comfortable are you asking for money. Humility, is that a high trait, and so do you resist kind of going out there or communicating about your work, not showing off but really just telling people what is it that you're doing. Could there be hybrid models, right, for fundraising? Like you don't just have a team, but again going back to the point that has come as a theme through this conversation of democratizing fundraising, right? Like how can you use everyone that is accessible and available to you to raise money for the organization and for the cause, and not necessarily for yourself, as we sometimes tend to believe and can hold us back. Changing the narrative around fundraising, making it fun, maza aana chahiye, as Rohit said. All of these also need to be a part of what fundraising means to you as an individual, and that was also some great sort of insight that came from that section of the discussion. We then went into specific processes that have worked, right, for each of our organizations. So dividing the funder life cycle into different pieces, engaging donors on a continuous basis and communicating with them, being prepared, doing your research, knowing about the organization, and ensuring that your turnaround time is quick. Like you cannot take weeks sometimes to get back because you might lose a donor in light of right, and creating the time and the space for fundraising, managing ourselves internally, and lastly communicating with all your donors, right? Whether it's a small one or a big one, maybe you can choose different mediums, but it's important to stay in touch. And then we looked at fundraising strategy as the last sort of section. And I think the biggest takeaway there was everyone looks at fundraising strategy differently. It depends on what is your context as an organization. So you can, design this plan based on whatever time zone you're comfortable with. Look for your funders by geography, by sector, by size of funding, but most importantly also understand the landscape, right? Like there's no point reaching out to a donor that will never fund what you do, because that's not their mandate and that's not their focus. So being really purposeful, research and data driven around funding, and then creating a plan to kind of go after it, right? So just a quick summary of all the insights. There were so many more, but I just tried to cover what I could in a couple of minutes. The Wipro team will be launching a feedback poll now. I'll just hand it over to Celine for closing and giving some context about that poll. Thank you, everyone.
On behalf of Wipro Foundation, I take this opportunity to thank panelists for such a scintillating session. I also express gratitude to all the other participants for their active engagement that has made this webinar a success. We look forward to seeing you at the forthcoming editions of these webinar series. Namaskar.